What's your name?
Ekansh Tambe.
Cool, and where are we and why are you here? Why are we here?
Okay, so we're in Nashville, Tennessee at Story 2019. And it's been an amazing conference. People telling their stories, other people's stories, talking about space in between old and new, stuff that has been and will be, and it's been incredible. It's been amazing.
Is there anything that's hit you that has felt old? And you're like, oh, I know that. And then my next question
Well,
is, what has
okay.
been new?
Okay, well, Apollo talked about like perception, the way people perceive things and why they perceive things that way. I thought that was really cool. He had one really powerful line. It's like, it's not what you look at, but what you see. Felt like I've explored that quite a bit, so I felt like I could relate to that. So that was really powerful.
And when you are interviewing people yourself,
Yeah.
you say like, what do you see?
What do I see?
Yeah.
I see them as just like that, just people, like in the middle of the United States, you don't think of them as people who are just like you and me. They're like somehow different because they live at the border, because they have something to do with a crisis that's talked about all over the world. But at the end of the day, they're just people, like you and me, the agents, the immigrants, the residents, everybody who's there. They're just like you and me.
You shared many stories with us,
Yeah.
right? Is there one that really changed you or like broke you down?
Definitely. There was the very last one I shared. I think I spent the most time on it. There was one lady I met along the U.S.-Mexico border who shared her story with me, and she had crossed the border illegally many decades ago, like 50 or 60 years ago in her early 20s, and she came to the U.S. She worked extremely hard, did very, very odd jobs and stuff, and tried to scrape together a living for herself and her son that she was raising alone. And her son, the son of an illegal immigrant, he went on to serve in the U.S. Army. And she was so inspired by my journey. So she voluntarily gave us a 4-hour tour of her town until midnight.
Wow.
Yeah, and she took us to places we wouldn't have otherwise dared to go. I mean, it was really incredible.
And when you say us, this is like your whole
My
family.
family,
You as a
yeah,
family.
yeah.
How has doing this thing together shaped the conversations you have with each other as a family?
Well, now we all know the facts, right? It's not just me. It's all of us. It's something that we all did. So I guess it brought us together in some way. Yeah.
Ashna, if you want to weigh in, how has it been for you
It's
coming
really
along?
cool seeing
Yeah.
how he does all this. He was like a really quiet, shy person usually, and he like would talk to the border patrol people for like 15 minutes and like just get to know them really well. It was really cool for me to see like that he like took a step to do this, and like then got like into and like talked to all these people.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, it does. And then talking at the TEDx really surprised me, like, and this story thing and how he like could stand up there in front of so many people and like talk to them, and it was really cool.
It's like you could too, right? Like
Yeah.
it's literally like if you can like what's stopping anyone really? From
Yeah.
just going and doing it. Thanks for sharing. When you're about to like go up to someone at border patrol, for example, what is your posture, your mindset when you're going in, about to like start the conversation, ask a question?
Well, me and my sister always get out of the car first, and then my parents get out. So they say like we're not a threat or anything, and then just walk up and you just talk to them, because many of them hadn't had like one border patrol agent. He hadn't had a U.S. citizen stop by and say hi to him in the 20 years he'd been in service. I
Wow.
mean that's
They really
that's
know
insane. Yeah.
What scares you about this adventure you're on?
What scares me?
Yeah.
Oh, at first I was scared of approaching people and talking to them, just because I didn't know how to. But then as I did it more, I realized they were just people, and it wasn't that hard to talk to them. So that was something that scared me at first, but eventually I got over, because I realized it was rational. And I talk to them, let them get to know me, and I get to know them, and you show them that you're interested in what they've gone through, and you can empathize with them, and then you just get to know them, and then
Yeah. Can you remind me the list of borders or places?
Yeah. So I did U.S.-Mexico border, then the Korean DMZ, then Israel-Palestine, then the Berlin Wall, then Spain and Morocco, and then I did Colombia and Venezuela.
Wow, we can be here for hours. Tell me about Colombia and Venezuela.
Okay, so Colombia is like, it's a beautiful country, and I visited all these places, these cities where they'd been like centers for like a ton of gang violence and stuff, but they were trying to reform and build infrastructure and put new emphasis on art and creation and creativity and that was really amazing. I mean,
When
it
did
was
you go to
really-
Colombia?
this summer.
This summer. This
last
past summer.
Yeah,
Were you in Medellin?
I was.
Okay.
That was one of the
'cause
cities.
So
Yeah.
I was there in 2014. I spent the whole
Uh-huh.
summer working with artists there. who
That's
were,
cool.
like,
That's awesome. Yeah.
doing that in the first
Uh-huh.
place. Where's the community at now?
It's amazing. We spent a full day there just wandering. It's amazing. Community 13. It's like you saw the staircase or the
Yeah,
escalator.
escaleras,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. There's no more like if you cross the border, then you can die type
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, they're reforming, and it's incredible to hear
Feel
to hear that
safe?
the tour guide. Yeah, and it was completely safe. You could see there were tourists everywhere,
Yeah.
and the whole city, the whole comuna was prospering because of tourists, and they were so receptive, and it was amazing. Yeah.
How do you plan if you plan these trips?
Yeah. So then before going, I just chalk out major cities I want to hit, spend a couple of days in, or stop the night in, or something like that. Maybe some small place along the way that like touch right at the border that I want to hit. But then a lot of it is just along the way. If I see like a little dirt road that hits the fence, but it wasn't on Google Maps before, then I was just like, all right, let's turn around and go right here.
The like, unmapped part.
Yeah. A lot of it was just seeing where I was and where I could go. Yeah.
And what about language?
Well, I took Spanish in school, so I could communicate with people a good amount at the U.S.-Mexico border, at the Spain and Morocco border, at the Colombia-Venezuela border. So that actually helped a lot. It's my 6th year learning Spanish at school. 6th year, yeah.
Is there anything that you're wrestling or sitting with or inspired by right now?
Well, I'd say there are like always more places to go. There's no specific thing. There's always another border to visit. There's always another problem to solve. There's always could be another problem because it's a human problem, right? For example, like I met a lady earlier today at my exhibit, and she said, I don't know if you've ever thought about this before, but I've been exploring some like borders, like ocean borders, that like, for example, a small island country has like 200 square miles of ocean that's their territory, but as soon as their island goes underwater, they lose all that, and then like the big giants take dibs on that. Yeah, I'd never thought of that before. So there's always gonna be like another thing to explore,
happens when-
another mental border, you know?
When one disappears or,
Yeah.
or changes when it's redrawn.
When it's redrawn, of
How
course.
do you define a border?
I'd say it's less geographic, and it's more about the people, a divide between people.
Which could be anything, like
Yeah.
a mental one.
Yeah, exactly. My point exactly. There's an unlimited amount of borders. You have whether it's like a mental block or a geographic block or a fence or a wall or something that's just understood by people to exist. I've only explored world borders. I haven't really dabbled in much else. Yeah.
Where are you headed next after this conference?
Antarctica.
Antarctica.
It's like cool. I think it'd be cool to explore a place with no borders.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the thought process behind
Yeah.
it.
How are you planning that trip?
I haven't started. It's gonna be at least like a year or so out.
Yeah.
It's just an idea right now. It's just a
Yeah.
formless idea that I haven't
That's
really
really
put into
cool.
action yet.
That's staying really open. Is there anything else you would possibly like to add?
Follow your passion.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to necessarily be borders. Just
Yeah.
anything you're passionate about, follow it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.